If the Rafah crossing is to be operational, it cannot be bombed, right? For a humanitarian corridor, we need to see the ability to have safe passage of humanitarian goods. We are working on that, but we are working on that with a number of other parties.
Gaza is known to be the most densely populated area in the world. So my question is, how will people leave these blockaded areas? And is the United Nations working on a humanitarian corridor? Thank you.
Well, we want to see a humanitarian corridor. I mean, I think as I've just explained, Mr. Venesland was in Cairo. He was also there with Philippe Lazzarini, the head of UNRWA. They had a meeting together. We were very pleased to see the decision by the Egyptian government, which we hope will lead, because more steps need to be taken, to humanitarian aid being able to get in to Gaza. We're very, very, very worried about the supplies of water, the supplies of fuel, what that will do to hospitals and the ability of people to live.
What's happening in Gaza, we just heard word that the only power station there has run out of fuel, no water, no food going in. One, what's left of the pre-positioned supplies that the UN has in Gaza? And then two, will we hear directly from the Secretary General about the earliest possibility that this humanitarian corridor can open, given that the world is probably looking to him more than anybody about this particular situation?
We are working full steam ahead on trying to get that to happen. But as I've said in different contexts, in different conflicts, we are not the ones with the fingers on the trigger. So we need to see if the Rafah crossing is to be operational, it cannot be bombed, right? For a humanitarian corridor, we need to see the ability to have safe passage of humanitarian goods. We are working on that, but we are working on that with a number of other parties. On the supplies, they're dwindling. Yeah.
Steph, just follow up. But
yeah.
How is there any? I know that you can't give an exact timeline, but is given again the extreme urgency of this situation, how close are you in negotiating?
I think we're talking about days. I mean, it's very short.
We know that Gaza has maybe 7 crossings. Is the humanitarian access that the SG is working on is regarding Rafah only, or?
Well, I mean, we know what we would like in the best of all possible worlds. We're also fully understanding of what is actually going on, the circumstances. I think the Egyptian decision is very much a welcomed one.
So you mean the crossings with Israel are not included at this stage?
You know what the situation is as well as I do. I mean, but we're obviously speaking to our Israeli counterparts on that issue. But the progress has been made where it's been made.
Also, if I may, we've seen in the last couple of days some calls from Israeli officials for the Palestinians in Gaza to flee or to leave Gaza Strip. And this was rejected completely by Egypt, for example. What's your position on these calls?
Civilians need to be protected. We do not want to see a mass exodus of Gazans, and many of them who have already been displaced from other parts.